Good day, everyone. So I am King Florence Capillion Patino. We are here at City Museum of Cagayan de Oro City. In this video, we're going to tackle about prehistoric period or prehistoric architecture, and also with the artifacts that found in the City Museum that is related to our topic that we tackle about in this video, which is prehistoric architecture. So what are we waiting for? Come on. Predates recorded history. This is a period in time wherein the writing system has not yet emerged, and most of the knowledge of this era lies in the objects used by people during that time. Most of the data are of non-verbal form, and it is a challenge for professionals to investigate and study these artifacts to know more about the story of early humans. 2.3 million years ago, the known ancestors of humans thrived and survived in prehistoric times through developing tools through stone, wood, and bones. Humans are believed to have migrated from Africa and spread all over the globe. Early humans lived a nomadic life, gathering food as they went and went on hunting. Around 9,000 before Christ, the early humans started practicing agriculture as they grow their food fertile lands, making food to be abundant. And early humans also started to domesticate animals to contribute in their work for food and clothing. Because of this agricultural practice, early humans have wanted to settle down in communities and live their nomadic life for a more unstable and secured life. Prehistoric period was generally categorized in three archaeological periods, such as first is Stone Age, second is Bronze Age, and third is Iron Age. Stone Age is the earliest human settlements. Early human beings, hominid ancestors, learned from many things, slowly and gradually, such as control fire, recognize social links, maintain a bond with the remains of the dead, to engage in symbolic thought, and to fashion symbolic images and objects. So the Stone Age is divided into three periods. First is Paleolithic, for old stone, Mesolithic or Middle Stone Age, and Neolithic or New Stone Age. This era is marked by the use of tools by our early human ancestors who evolved around 300,000 before Christ, and the eventual transformation from a culture of hunting and gathering to farming and food production. During this era, early humans shared the planet with a number of non-extinct hominin relatives, including Neanderthals and Denisovans. In the Paleolithic period, roughly 2.5 million years ago to 10,000 before Christ, early humans lived in caves or simple huts or tips, and they were hunters and gatherers. They used basic stone and bone tools as well as crude stones axes for hunting birds and wild animals. They cooked their prey, including woolly mammoth, deer, and bison, using controlled fire. They also fished and collected berries, fruit, and nuts. The end of this period marked the end of the last ice age, which resulted in the extinction of many large mammals and rising sea levels and climate change that eventually caused man to migrate. During the Mesolithic period, about 10,000 before Christ to 8,000 before Christ, humans used small stone tools, now also polished and sometimes crafted with points and attached to antlers, bone or wood, to serve as spears and arrows. They often lived nomadically in camps, near rivers, and other bodies of water. Agriculture was introduced during this time, which led to more permanent settlement in villages. So finally, during the Neolithic period, roughly 8,000 BC to 3,000 BC, ancient humans switched from hunter or gatherer mode to agriculture and food production. They domesticated animals and cultivated cereal grains, and they used polished hand axes for flattening and tilling the land and starting to settle in the plains. Advancements were made not only in tools, but also in farming, human home construction, and art, including pottery, sieving, and weaving. Bronze Age. During the Bronze Age, about 3000 BC to 1300 BC, metalworking advances were made, as bronze, as copper, and tiny alloy was discovered. now used for weapons and tools. The harder metal replaced stone predecessors and helped spark innovators, including the ox-drawn plow and the wheel. This time period also brought advance in architecture and art, including the invention of the potter's wheel and textile clothing consisted of mostly wood items such as skills, kits, and tunic. Home dwellings were two so-called round houses consisting of a circular stone wall with a thatch or turf roof, complete with a fireplace or hearth, and more villages and cities began to form. Iron Age. The discovery of ways to heat and forge iron kicked off the Iron Age, roughly 1300 BC to 900 BC. At the time, the metal was seen as more precious than gold, and wrought iron, which would be replaced by steel with the advent of smelting iron, was easier to manufacture than bronze. Along with mass production of steel tools and weapons, the age saw even further advances in architecture, with more rooms homes, some complete with stable for animals, and also joining more luminary helpful, as well as royal palaces, temples, and other religious structures. Early city planning also took place, with blocks of homes being erected along paved or cobblest streets and water system put into place. Agriculture, art, and religion became more sophisticated, and writing system and written documentation, including alphabets, began to emerge, ushering in the early historical period.
Oh, hi there! I didn't see you there. Just checking if I already packed all of my things for this trip. So before anything else, my name is Charmy Kabunok and I'll be your tour guide for today. Let's visit some places which prehistoric era structures and artifacts were being recognized in Bukidnon and Cagayan de Oro area. Are you ready? So the Cagayan de Oro area was continuously inhabited by late Neolithic to Iron Age Austronesian cultures. The oldest human remains discovered was from the Huluga caves. Once used as a burial place by the natives, the caves have yielded numerous artifacts, but most areas have been badly damaged by guano collectors and amateur treasure hunters. Associated with the cave is the Huluga open site, believed to be the site of the primary pre-colonial settlement in the region identified as Himologan by the first Spanish missionaries. The site is located about 8 kilometers from present-day Cagayan de Oro. Huluga Cave is a prehistoric site in the Philippines. It is located in the south end of Cagayan de Oro City, about 8 kilometers away. Composed of the two main caverns, it is situated on the eastern side of Cagayan de Oro River, along the brow of a vertical limestone cliff. Although many archaeological sites in the Philippines are heavily looted and destroyed, some fossils and artifacts have been retrieved for scientific study. This collection in Huluga, Cagayan de Oro indicates that the area was settled around 350 AD and possibly earlier. So nagwonder mo, what does Huluga Cave had to do or connect sa prehistoric period? So aside from it is an old cave which might be used as a shelter back on and a part of a Paleolithic dwellings, researchers have also identified fossils, artifacts, and raw materials which was considered a commodity in prehistoric times. It is said that Huluga Cave's artifacts can be found in Museo de Oro. So, we can particularly identify prehistoric stone structures and some religious structures located in our area, but let's jump on to Valencia City, Bukidnon. Let's go! So, Valencia City, Bukidnon is located in the heart of Mindanao. With its hills and plains rich in natural resources, the rich trade and the rich harvest from the various farms, it is considered as the agritourism capital of the province of Bukidnon. Mesolithic dwellings can be found in this area. So what is Mesolithic dwellings then? So Mesolithic dwellings consist of pieces of barks and twigs and branches that were, in some cases, apparently laid out over a length of thicker branches. Example of this one is the Nipa hut or Bahay Kubo, which can be found in Valencia City, Bukidnon. Bahay Kubo, also known as the Nipa hut, is a kind of stilt house of the indigenous Filipino people which became a symbolic icon of the Philippines. We can particularly see Nipa huts that's like the old structure of it now, but Bahay Kubo can be seen as a modern architectural structures today. That's all for my short trip. I hope you learned something and might as well visit these places if you want to see it for yourself and experience some prehistoric era vibes. Glad to be your companion. Let's move on to Mr. Kayanya and what places or knowledge can we acquire to his trip for today. Enjoy and remember, take nothing but memories, leave nothing but footprints. Adios.
Tumulus is a mound of earth and stones raised over grave or graves. Tumuli are also known as barrows, burial mounds, or kurgans, and may be found throughout much of the world. Etymology: Stonehenge. Stan meaning stone, henge meaning henge, hands meaning hang or gallows. The most remarkable megalithic monument built around 2800 to 1500 BC for astronomical purposes. Despite having so many speculations on its use, it is believed to be a solar observatory marking the midsummer day's sunrise during summer solstice. It is located at Wiltshire, southern England. The larger stones are 45 to 50 tons from Wales. Stones were transported through the sea or river. With the help of sledge and rollers, it was heaved on land by hundreds of laborers. It is believed to have an estimation of 30 million hours of construction and was divided into three phases. Pits were dug where stones are set upright before capping and with lintel similarly like the post and lintel construction.
Early men lived in natural caves and shelters made from bones and hides or skin of animals. These are called dwellings and usually have no partitions and are just one room. However, as civilization developed into complex societies, this had led to the partitions of the floor plans of the ancient dwellings such as dining, cooking, sleeping, and socializing. Some of the ancient houses or building methods were still used or adapted today in areas where industrial revolution never occurred. First example of a primitive dwelling are caves. A cave in general is a natural void in the ground, specifically a space large enough for a human to enter. Caves often form by the weathering of rock and often extend deep underground. A good example is the Laco cave or known as grotto. Laco is famous for its Paleolithic cave paintings found in a complex of caves in the Dordogne region of southwestern France. Because of their exceptional quality, size, sophistication, and antiquity, estimated to be up to 20,000 years old, the painting consists primarily of large animals once native to the region. Laco is located in the Vézère Valley where many other decorative caves have been found since the beginning of the 20th century. Up next are the Trullo, which are also known as the Trulli in southern Italy. These are traditional Apulian dry stone houses with conical roof. Its interior is covered by a dry stone corbelled or keystone vault. It is believed that the method of its construction came from a prehistoric tradition. Next on line are lake dwellings. These dwellings are built on wooden piles rising above the surface of a lake or a marshy land. In prehistoric times, they were very much widespread in coastal areas around the world where many livelihood is fishing. Igloos are also an example of a prehistoric dwelling. An igloo has a dome shape and is made of compacted bricks of snow. Igloos, which are entirely built of snow blocks, have been constructed by the Inuit tribes that live in parts of Canada and Greenland. Additional examples of primitive dwellings are wigwam, hogan, mammoth bone hut, Iraqi mudhif, and a Sumatran house.
The Neolithic or New Stage Age is a term used for the period in our past when the shift from hunting and gathering wild animals and plants to a farming lifestyle occurred. Speaking of Neolithic period, Neolithic architecture varies between time and location based upon a variety of influences, including the natural resources, technologies, and the environmental requirements. In this period, the materials that are commonly used are thick timber posts, reeds clay like hay clay or mud bricks, and stones for foundation and the upper structures or walls. For the creation of roofs, they utilize three trines, reeds, clay, and hay. To this, the dwellings of this period became more sustainable and built into a square or rectangular plans with sections divided into animal skins. Food is produced by agriculture with the cultivation of wheat and barley and by the breeding of cattle. In addition to meat and milk, the cattle provide transport as beasts of burden. A surplus of food enables specialist crafts to develop. The community uses pottery and woven textile. There are 4 types of dwellings during the Neolithic period, and those are the timber-framed houses, long houses, dome-shaped houses, and dry stone houses. One of the best preserved Neolithic towns is Catalhuyuk, covering some 32 acres in southern Turkey. Here, the houses are rectangular with windows but no doors. The transformation from settled villages to an urban agglomeration, which persisted in the same spot for more than 2,000 years, is well documented by the excavations at Catalhuyuk. The round tent-like house reaches a more complete form in Kirokitia, a settlement of about 6,500 BC in Cyprus. One of the most significant prehistoric sites in the eastern Mediterranean is Kirokitia, a Neolithic settlement that was inhabited between the 7th and 4th millennia BC. Its remnants and the discovery made during the excavations there have shed a great deal of insight on the development of human society in this important area. And there is another striking innovation at Kirokitia, a paved road run through the village, a central thoroughfare for the community with paths leading off to the courtyards around which the houses are built. The round house has remained a traditional shape. Buildings very similar to those in Kirokitia are still lived in today in parts of southern Italy, where they are known as trulli. One of the oldest continually inhabited cities in the world is Jericho, which is located immediately north of the Dead Sea and directly west of the Jordan River. This is because Jericho is a natural oasis in the desert with several freshwater springs, as indicated by its Arabic name, Ar, which means fragrant. The town expanded swiftly, and for unknown reasons, the locals soon built a massive stone wall and outside ditch around it, along with a stone tower that was set up against the inner side of the wall and stood about 8 meters high. Various explanations for the purpose of this wall include military defense, keeping out animal predators, and even preventing the earth around the settlement from naturally increasing in elevation. Regardless of its initial purpose, here is the first iterations of the walls Joshua so expertly overcame some 6,000 years later.